Welcome to fourth session. It's the last of 4 of Dungeon World beneath Cartannah. We are once again with our 4 characters, well, 4 players, because one of them died last session. We are with Jan. We will leave him be for now. He's making his new character. He's going to join us in a few minutes. Ryan is with us, playing Diogenes, the shape-shifting, my own society thing person. And then Natanu with Taori, which is now in ghost spirit form. And Orpheus, which is discovering that leaving the city can be quite tough on one's soul and body. A quick recap of last session. Jack, as we remember, pointed you out to this contact of a well-known contact in the Rift Town where you're at right now. A city underground beneath Cartannah, Jacobo, a mysterious person wearing a large brimmed hat with cat-like eyes. So the next morning after you recovered, you went to meet him, but he took his sweet time coming to see you and presented himself in a purplish cat form to you and offered you Jack in exchange for the way to Babagesh's house. But then you were surprised by a bunch of zombies in this alley, which attacked you and were under the control of a cultist wearing red robes, like the first one you met in the first session, and also followed and defended by a second Karatesh, a different one, which you swiftly, well, not quite swiftly, but pretty epically took care of. Was an amazing scene. If you want to see it, just watch third session. So, and then Jack took the opportunity to escape you guys, but it's okay because Jacobo offered you a second deal, asking you to try to free a spirit that was under Babagesh's care named Fur. You had a small discussion and decided to go ahead and accept the second deal. So Jacobo brought you to Babagesh's place, where you met twins, which were orcs. And we discovered Jan, which was called Cham, had a big distaste for orcs. We didn't know why at that point, but we could see and feel the tension there. And also at that point, Cham was pretty battered, so obviously it was not in a good place, I think, at that point. So he stayed outside, as did our friend Diogenes, while Orpheus and Nathaniel went in and discussed with Babagesh. And she said she would help you out, but she needed some time to decipher the rubbing. Ask you for an hour of peace, as she was looking at talking with our fellow spirits from the ancient times that probably knew the old writing. And so we flash back to our friend Diogenes that went and did some mayhem in the upper bedroom of the twins. Epic stuff again, involving, I think, again, some biological remains, right? If I remember correctly.
I think it was mostly
eating stuff, right?
Spray.
Yes.
Yeah, and the goat eating books and knocking over the chessboard. Yeah.
Yeah. The skunk and the goat. Another song in the making. So yeah, and while this was going down, Cham was approached by the brother Gref, but he did not want to talk, so they fought. And well, it didn't end up in Cham taking a dive inside the rift and sadly dying, and offering us one last scene. Oh yes, for people, look at the flashback Cham did in the alley there, and the last one we got here. There's a lot of backstory going on there. It's amazing, but if you're following this, you probably know already. Am I forgetting anything, people? I probably am. I mean, it's been a week.
I think you hit all the highlights or all the big things. Yeah.
Something major that happened. Orpheus used the fire ring in a desperate moment and discovered it was giving him the power of fireball. But you know what happens when you're firing a fireball at point blank, right? So that's where our friend's companion died, right, Taori, and came back at the end of the session as a spirit. We saw that Orpheus was not happy about what happened and was having some, I'm guessing, not resentment, right? How do you call it? When you were sorry about something you did.
Like regret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's important, I think, to mention, because now our snake friend is a snake ghost friend. If you look at the character sheet, I did change Taori's stats and look. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I took a look through and I was trying to imagine how I was going to use the her new abilities. So
of course, I mean, it's your animal companion. It's one of your moves. It's your character. So at this point, before we start, are you good with what I did? I mean, it's yours to play with. So you see this as inspiration. If you want to change anything, you can go ahead and ask me. This is the
I like it. I especially like that you changed the instinct to make mischief. I think that is very appropriate for a spirit creature. So
yeah. So yeah. Jan, are you good?
Yeah, I think I'm all set up.
I'll just give a quick look at what you got there. Oh man! Oh, okay. Hello, you. The name. Oh, okay. I think the best way we could do this is have you arriving in the scene right now. We are at the point where Nathanu's went down on the rope, so she's just coming back from her climb, or sent back on the railing, as I'm seeing Orpheus giving her a hand to get back, and our friend Diogenes is still perched on top of that arch. And Orpheus, you're like a bit dizzy, but still you're using the railing as a, to steady yourself. And your face is all bloody, and you're starting to swell because you've just been pummeled. And Graf is like in a corner, and she has both of her hands in her face, and she's like, and she's like between, like anger, rage, and sadness, and you can tell she is having issues processing what's going on inside her. She's like fighting something, right? Is she gonna like fall into sadness or fall into rage? At this point, she's very, very emotional. She's there, and I think that's where we see you stepping in before anything else goes down, if you want to have the most interactions with the rest of the party in the session. Are we good with that, people?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to quickly describe yourself as you're coming in front of the plaza of Baba Gesh's house, as you're seeing all of this going down?
Yeah, sure. So I think you guys hear the click of a heel as my like shiny leather boots with a short heel come walking along the cobblestones. What you see is a small halfling, immaculately dressed, coiffed hair, kind of slung to the side, short on the sides, a little long on the top. He's got this like grin on his face, got these smiling eyes, like maybe little crow's feet by his eyes. He seems like a very live, small, thin body. He's wearing like a leather armor, stylized with like a nice white shirt underneath with a little pop collar that's popping up through the top. He's got what seems to be like leather riding pants on, or like maybe they're trousers with like a leather kind of like riding, like what would you call it, like chaps, I guess, but like stylized ones that are kind of puckered on the side.
The thing that goes inside the tights, right? So that your pants don't like...
I mean, I don't know enough riding. If you're like a horseback rider, then just ignore all of what I'm saying because it's probably not real. And then, yeah, and then he's flipping a coin, and he's got one hand on kind of his dagger at his waist, and I think he just like strolls up to. And who did you say was leaning against the railing?
And it's Orpheus with Nathaniel that's just like swinging over, so they're both there.
Yeah, so I think he comes up beside Orpheus, like leans up against the railing, and maybe Orpheus hasn't even noticed him or something because he's kind of short, right? And then yeah, and then he'll flip his coin, and then I think he'll be like, it seems like you're down a companion. Want to hire another one?
I think Orpheus is in bad shape. Orpheus is, been bludgeoned, and as soon as Orpheus gets Natanu up, Orpheus has a rapier out and is looking over at Graf and says, "We need to watch that one. She is fierce and doesn't know what she's doing."
You're ignoring me?
I'm not ignoring you, but Orpheus, at this point, who is like clinging on to life, is obviously very focused on this orc who she's deafened at this point, and she's also, emotionally distressed. But Orpheus is gonna, have the rapier out, acknowledge you, but is obviously going to be very much kind of focused on this orc, this distraught orc.
I just want to intervene the way I'm seeing this, because we're not seeing the facial expressions of your characters. You could just have said, yes, I'm hiring you, and your first job is to watch this orc, right? Would be the implied thing you just did there.
Oh, I don't mind playing it out a little bit. I don't mind playing it a little bit. And so maybe I'll say like, I come cheap, wouldn't cost you much. And I'm pretty good with a rapier. And then I'll just like take a rapier out and just do like a flourish and put it back in.
Yeah, I'll look over at you and say, I'm not sure we need the assistance of children. Why you decided to approach us after our friend was beaten and our other friend murdered?
I think right when he says we don't need the assistance of children, like I think I'll like whip out a throwing dagger and just like stung right beside, like in the railing, the wooden railing, like right beside him.
Yeah, I'll glance over at Diogenes. Diogenes is still a hawk perched up there on the right. Okay, and I'll just kind of like slow nod, like saying, "Do you agree with this? I think he's useful."
Yeah, I think so. To this point, Diogenes had been trying to not let the others, like the orcs and Baba Gesh, know that he was even there. I'm not sure if I want to keep doing that or not. I think I will, but in response to Netanyahu, I think he's just going to let out like a hawk's kind of screech and then wag his dog tail. Yeah, still not transforming.
And don't forget, as you're an hawk, you're seeing like as if you were right beside them, right? So
yeah. So with that confirmation from my companion, I'll say, keep an eye on the green one, will you? I've got to help.
Yeah. So I think to that you'll say, I'll say like, but wait, We haven't even made terms yet.
And Orpheus at this point, you know,
Right.
getting Orpheus's equilibrium. Orpheus will pick up. You said you threw down a dagger. Orpheus will pick up the dagger.
It's stuck in the railing.
Right. I'll kind of do this and say, of course, we would appreciate your assistance, and we'll hand back the dagger and also a coin, and say, perhaps this will.
Yeah, so I think if you
cement
hand me
some-
a coin, because I'm flipping a coin, right?
Mhm.
I think you hand me a coin and I'll flip it up, catch your coin, throw your coin back to you, and then keep flipping my coin. And I'll say, oh no. That, what will I say? I'll say, but we haven't, my terms are simple. 25% of whatever finder's fee, whatever it is that we come across. I think that's fair. And well, for the time being, I'm a little bit embarrassed, but I seem to have lost my adventuring gear. And well, you can see I have an image to uphold. So if you do well to supply me for the trip, then I'm yours.
I guess you're ours then. And at this, the Taori will kind of like wind around your legs and then come back over to me.
So you guys don't actually have enough money to buy wait, do you guys have my backpack? Because if you have my backpack, then maybe my money's in there. Or sorry, Cham's money, not my money.
If we remember this, the pack was hanging on the rafter and everything fell down the rift, right? So
But
I
imagine some things like being tied to the side of the backpack, like a bedroll,
okay.
for instance, or.
So we need to ask Nathanu if she brought back the pack.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the pack had fallen. Yeah.
Would you have taken the pack?
Yeah, if Cham's pack had been sitting down there, I definitely would have brought it up. Why not?
Right. Who's gonna take the pack? Or are you gonna just give it as like to our friend here?
I mean, it would probably be like 4 times bigger than me.
Yes.
Well, since it's empty, it's probably okay, and there's probably a way to adjust the straps. And
I mean, Cham's backpack was like the special one, right? They carried tons and tons of stuff. That was huge on Cham, and he was like a monster. He was like 6'7" or something like that. So this thing could literally, I could sleep in it. It's a tent for me.
And have the contents spilled out of the backpack? In other words, is it just basically the pack without like all the stuff in it? Is that what we have?
well, the thing is, we need to. The move is gone, so the stuff spilled out. But Jan, I'm saying Jan because it's not Felix. Just told us that a few stuff was strapped on. So I'm just gonna say it was the adventuring uses gear. So the only issue, and let's just say that there's like inside the big pack, you find a smaller pack where you can.
That makes sense, yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'd
So
have
you
to
got
size something like that, yeah.
here we go. So you got yourself an adventuring pack with how much gear? How much uses you get?
5, I think.
So roll a d4 and add that.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
Or how much did you have at that point? Do you remember? I don't care.
No. I'm happy with rolling it.
Mhm.
D4. I like the left.
Probably knickknacks that were inside a big pack that's gonna work. So go ahead, see what happens there.
I got a 4.
You got it 4. There you go. So you're loaded to the brim.
Yeah, and also I kind of like that as a last little thing for people to scratch their head about Cham, where he's like, why does he have a halfling's backpack? And why does the halfling backpack have like adventuring gear in it? That's perfect.
It's fate.
And I think Orpheus at this point, if Orpheus sees anything significant missing from the adventuring backpack, Orpheus is going to be generous in kind of opening up his or her own pack to say, is there anything that I can supply you out of my pack?
Yeah, so if you say that, and I think as you say that, I'll say like, so I suppose that it's a deal then.
I think it is a deal.
Yeah, and is there anything nice? I like actually, yeah, I go through your backpack and I look at like all the quality of the stuff. And if anything of yours is nicer quality than mine, I replace it.
Okay.
Like I get all the best shit.
And if you're okay with it, I want to have fun here. As a last memento to Cham, I want each of you to describe as Felix was spilling over the remains of the contact, the big pack, and found the smaller pack inside. Each of you, I want you to describe a totally useless object that falls down from the pack. Starting with Natanu.
For whatever reason, Cham was carrying around like a clay pot or pitcher, but it's just crushed to pieces. And so the base is there, and it's, you know, it got little shards, and there's just like this clay dust that pours out onto the ground as he's sorting through things.
I think Rand's still thinking. Rob, are you good to go? Sorry, Orpheus. Sorry.
A totally useless object that fell out of the pack of Cham. Cham was also carrying something like a snow globe. You know, some object that had it looked like an outdoor scene, like the plains or something like that, but it had a kind of snow globe, and that also got kind of shattered in the fall, although you can still see the glass as well as like the little pieces of the outdoor plains scene that was being portrayed in that snow globe type object.
So
I think we find a bag of what looks like coins, and maybe you see someone open it, being like, "Oh, sweet, we're good," but they're like foil covered chocolate coins, and then when you open them up, they're just like, you know, the chocolate's gone like changed color, and it's got like weird discolorations, and you're like, ugh, how long has this been in here?
So
yeah.
I think because I mean the Cham that we saw was basically a barbarian, but the Cham we were shown in flashbacks was often like a deeper, almost introspective sort of character. So I think a what looks like to us kind of a collection of scribbles kind of bound together just falls out. And it's actually Cham's like diary, but it's in Cham's language, so none of us can read it, and we just assume it's garbage.
Yeah, I like that idea. And maybe someone gets like we get the camera, like everyone's just like, ah, whatever, and the book's open, and we get a shot of some last introspective thing that's on the diary.
Well, I think Orpheus, that would be the kind of thing you would be into, huh?
Yeah, I think Orpheus would not see this as something worthless, but Orpheus would, if Orpheus had the opportunity to take some of it, he would look to preserve some of it and take it with him. He may not understand the language right now, but would be very much interested in kind of further study of what was on those sheets.
Is Cham Ghost okay with that?
Sure, what the hell? Why not?
All right. So at this point, as you're looking at all the stuff on the ground, is Orpheus is leaning down to pick up the book, and you can see the glint in his eyes. And also, you know, Raph is kind of getting back slowly together, and you're all eyeing her in the corner. She gets up really quickly, but she's not looking at you guys. She's looking at the door, because the door of the Babagesh house just opened, and she's there leaning on her stick or walking stick, and she looks at you and starts coming down. Well, this went well. Took less time than I thought it would. I got your answers, little ones. And she's slowly on the stairs, and then she eyes her daughter. Then she looks at you. She looks around, and then she comes by with, you know, a knowing, dark face of someone that's about to get some bad news. She stops beside her daughter, and she's, Where's your brother, young one? And she looks at everyone. And we see Graf not being able to speak and just starting to cry without saying anything and kind of sniffing. And she just like points at the rift at the rail, and she's like, and then she like, ah! And she falls back down on her knees, and she starts to cry again. And then Bobette like puts her hand on the railing, and she doesn't look down, right? She looks at you with this dark stare and says, What went down here? Speak up.
Orpheus will speak and say, we are as puzzled as Graf is. When we left, we came looking for our dear friend and didn't see him. And we were wondering what had happened. And I have no idea what the details are, but and
I think this
Orpheus
is
will gesture.
Maxime, is it okay if Felix saw what happened? Like, I like the idea of him standing in the shadows and having watched this whole thing.
Of course, it kind of makes sense since you're a thief, huh?
Yeah,
you're probably eyeing the group and deciding if you want to do.
I like the idea of like right when he says like we don't know what happened, we get a flashback of me like in the shadows silently flipping a coin, and then like maybe you just see like a little light on my eyes, and I watch the orc go over, and then like just my white teeth smiling in the, and then you see me take the first few steps that we opened the thing with. Yeah, so I'll step forward at this point. I have my hands like neatly behind my back with my chin raised high, and I'll say like, I witnessed the entire affair. Well, it seemed as though the orc was caught, or sorry, the barbarian, or at least he seemed like one to me, was caught deeply in introspection when an orc engaged him from behind and seemed to have startled the man, and there was a quick brouhaha. After which point, the orc threw the man over the railing ignominiously. He fell to his death. It was a dirty affair.
This is kind of a player question. Do we know where Griff, it's Griff, right, is the male, went? Did we see that?
Yes.
Oh, so he did go down with him. Okay.
Yes.
So at that point, Babagesh looks at Felix and she's like, assuming you're being truthful, this is really, really something. She looks at everyone and she's like, you obviously have nothing to do with what happened. We were all inside. And she's trying to process what's going on. She just learned that her son died. I raised that kid. I found him when he was not even a teen. He's been with me for so long. And then you show up and he just is gone now. I don't know if I want to curse you. I don't know if I want to. And at this point, you see the doors from our house slamming open. And Nathaniel, remember David, the knight? Well, at this point, you all see him. And he's coming down the stairs, but he's not walking. He's like in a ghost form. The half of his body is like just like he's floating through you. But he doesn't engage. He doesn't look like he wants to fight you, but he's coming to the side of Babagesh. And you see her looking at him and just being like, I don't know if I want you to be dealt with my friends. And she's just like, you can say with the gesture, she's holding him back. No, it's not your fault. She takes another big, I'll do even better. I'll give you exactly what you want. Raph, don't come inside. Stay here. You, come with me. Inside. If I change my mind, decide you had something to do with what just went down. And you see, like, she starts to cry, right? Without just tears going down her face, and her eyes are red and stuff. She's, she's going to take care of you before she has her grief in private, but the tears come down even though, and she's slowly starting to walk towards the house. But you see the knight staying behind, slowly unsheathing his sword, and just like being ready to attack you if you do anything like drastic. But he's not engaging you. He's just like eyeing you, and like you can tell by the way he's standing that he's gonna react if you do anything like rash. So he's just looking at you with his sword, not like ready to go, but just like kind of leaning in and being on his guard, right? What do you do at this point?
I'll just pipe in at this point. The name's Felix the Fourth, by the way, in case it matters.
It doesn't to me, young one.
Yeah, and I just look like I give her a sharp look, and I'll smile at her kind of disdainfully, and then make an ironic bow.
Well, she does acknowledge your bow, and she kind of makes you just like a nod, and she turns, come.
I'll follow her.
Yeah, and I mean, Orpheus, I think at this point still unsteady on his legs, is going to follow. I think Orpheus will also say that I when we were wondering what was happening out here, Graf came charging at us, and I tried my best to calm her down, and got a good pummeling as a result of my efforts. But I restrained myself, and we restrained ourselves because we were as much in grieving for our friend as she was for the loss of her brother.
Are you saying that to her? Talking
to Baba Gesh, yeah, just to let Baba Gesh know that I mean, because obviously Graf has sustained some damage as a result of the conflict, and Orpheus has plenty of marks of damage that were caused by Graf.
You see it quickly turn to your way just before she goes up the stairs, and she's not leaning over. She looks at you. I'm exercising immense restraint right now, so don't talk about restraint to me. And she's like spitting. Follow me. I will not say it a fourth time. And she slowly gets back, like stoops over and starts like Yoda does, right? He's kind of going up. And as she gets inside, she's like, what is that awful smell? Oh, the day we're having. Come. And she goes back in her lab downstairs with you. So we see Felix seeing this room for the first time. Give me a sec. Here we go. It's, if we remember correctly, even though you went up stairs, you go back right down in the basement. It's not well lit. There's a few candles by this altar, and it's not the most tidy place. There's like not really junk, but knick-knack all over the place. It's not the most clean place either. So you probably, Felix, there's no place you would sit without probably getting yourself dirty at this point. I'm pushing a flag here, I think, for you guys to work with if you want. And it smells awful. There's like this draft of skunk. Someone's probably it's either a skunk or someone's having fun with funny tobacco upstairs, because there's this very poignant odor coming down from the stairs at this point. It wasn't as arduous and painful as I thought it was. I don't think you'll like the answer I have for you. Here's your rubbing, and as agreed, here's what it says. And she actually wrote it down for you guys. Tell me if you can read this properly. I don't know if it's pixelized or anything.
Oh, we can read it.
Does someone want to read this out loud just for fun?
To open the den of the black dog in slumber, poke the eye with the rod to spill its tears of light. Mark the red path with your blood in ascending order. Forfeit your soul, for you will have unleashed the blight.
So Baba Gesh looks at you. The black dog. You know what it is, right? Maybe someone does.
Bethany didn't say anything about that, right?
I have an idea of what the black dog might be. And at least I've seen a mark that is suggestive of a black dog that certain people have tattooed on them.
Yes. You saw the mark of the old god of death. That's what you did. You saw the mark of Set Matmesh, the black dog in the flesh. You should think of this. I was about to tell you and try to convince you not to go ahead with this. But now, with all what just happened, please go ahead. Find the door. Open it. Mark your seal, your fate. Ah, you'll need this, by the way. And she throws a stick at you, basically. I've been keeping this for years. It was Gregor's, and he gave it to me. Now it's yours. Do whatever you want. It's walking stick with a nice purple gem on top. It's probably for an halfling, it would almost be like I think it would get to your nose, right? For other people, it would be just right to use as a cane. It's quite sturdy, and who's taking it? She just dumps it on the altar. Sorry, Diogenes, you're outside.
Yeah, I think I would pick up the rod and looking at Felix, say, does this count as a quarter? And I'll hand it to him, trying to give him payment up front.
Yeah. So does it? It has this big gem on top of it.
It's pretty much exactly what you see.
Yeah,
on the picture.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So,
and it's at your nose, right? Because you're an halfling.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm no expert at mathematics, but this seems like 100% so far. Which is, if it's okay with you, it's just fine with me, and I'll just yank it out of your hand, and then I'll give it a twirl, and then it goes into my backpack as if I've done something like this 1,000 times.
It's probably crossed over your shoulder, like a big greatsword would be, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, maybe I'll yeah, maybe I'll even maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just test it out as a walking stick or something, take a couple steps and see if it's the right height to use properly as a walking stick.
And it's really cold to the touch, even though it's made out of wood mostly. It feels like you're holding something made out of metal that was like stayed outside all night, and it's like, you know, very cold. Oh yes, and last thing. You take away one of the half of the most precious thing I have in life, and I go away and throw stuff at you. The world we live in. If you're gonna get to the door quickly without losing any time, since this is the last session, you'll probably need something to help you guide you the way. You might want to use this. It's one of my favorite spirits. There you go. And she like gives you like a big lantern.
Is this
Mine
the
is-
spirit that that cat person whose name I can't recall right now?
Yes. Be mindful. This is a demon. Don't trust everything he says. And the lantern lights up. Mistress, that's not the proper way of presenting your friends. If I'm going to depart your service, at least you could at least present me to these fine gentlemen properly, please. Ah, shut up! I'm so happy I'm getting rid of you after all these decades. He's yours for the keeping. Sister, you should keep him. And she kind of like gives it to Nathaniel.
Yeah, I'll snatch it. That's exactly what I'm about.
Just
Yeah, and I think when you take it, I think I'll just say 50%.
and the furfur is looking at you, eyeing you from the inside of the lamp, and he's, oh, amazing! I get tossed over from one witch to another. Amazing. Well, my name's Furfur, new mistress. I'm at your service.
I'm happy to hear it.
Not as much as I am, I guess. He's been to the door once when I was a young adventurer with Gregor. He doesn't remember Gregor. That's fine. He knows the way. No, that doesn't make sense. He's been to the door once. He told me such. I hope he told me the truth. He'll guide you there.
Well, gracious Baba Gesh, I feel we should take our leave. Orpheus, is there anything else that's proper to do here?
Baba Gesh, I must say that we are deeply indebted to you. I had hopes, but I never really imagined that we would be seeing the rod of the eye that was talked about by Lady Bethany, and I'm indebted to you. We are all indebted to you.
Just know this. The next time we meet, we will not be friends. Go now.
I think when she says that, I'll be like, dear, we were never friends to begin with. And then I'll like click my cane, my new cane twice, like, and just like the heels click, 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 walk out the door.
Diogenes, you see them coming in back. What do you do?
So I'm still perched up on the archway. And I think, I mean, just because I've kept up the kind of disguise to this point, I'm just going to wait until they're out and on their way, and then I'm going to follow. And once we're far enough from Baba Gesh's, I think I'll then revert to human form.
Felix, how do you react to this?
And actually, I think what I'll do is I'm kind of flying overhead, and I want to when I come to revert, I'm gonna kind of go behind, so I swoop down to the ground, and as soon as I land, transform, and like as close to Felix as I can. And before, or maybe he notices, I don't know, but I don't think Diogenes cares. He's gonna say, "Another fancy traveler I see," and kind of poke at his fine clothes.
Yeah, and I'll say, look, don't touch. Keep your scummy hands off me, or you'll. And then I'll take my rapier out, or you'll get the end of the blade. Are we Do we understand each other?
And so I think Diogenes is going to play along, but clearly in a patronizing sort of way, and kind of dance back with his hands up and, ooh, okay. And then, as if it never happened, just kind of start walking with the group.
Yeah, and I'll give one of those like sardonic smiles where I'm just like, yeah, everything's cool. Fuck you. You're muted, Max. I don't know.
So character talk. Orpheus and I probably could use some rest before we go do anything too exciting.
Yeah. I guess you're gonna go get some rest at Digger's Sorrow. Would that be the plan? We'll just like scheme over this really quickly. I think you slowly make your way back to Digger's Sorrow, and if anyone has one coin to throw at her, do you? I don't know, or something you want to trade for. You get the room, and nothing really eventful will happen. So you get to make camp if you want, and rest over and half of your. And then if you have the money, you can also probably get some healing herbs and pulses, and just like go in. We'll just say, go and shop and do your stuff. Nothing really will happen, so we can move quickly to get back into the adventure. If you need anything, you can ask me. Everything that's on the gear list is available somewhere for the right price, no problem. You can find those. If you need anything more specific, we need to talk about it. I'll take a quick 5-minute break as you're doing your probably leveling up and stuff like that, choosing a new move if you have to, and I'll get back to you guys. Do you want to take like a 10-minute break, so you need to go for a bio break and level up, or you're just good with the 5 minutes?
I'm probably okay with 5. I do have a question also for you, Maxime. I don't think
Sure. Yeah, I have time.
Yeah, so because I just started at level 4, I wanted to. I would have only had 1 poison, but I would have wanted to have taken like Poison Master and got a second poison and used it at some point in my travels, so that it's on my list of other poisons I can make. Or do you want me to like? Can I just have a second poison that I can make, or do you want me to like? Do you want to see it?
No problem. You can invent stuff. I mean, let's just say at one point you took poison. Exactly, you took Poison Master, came across a poison, make up whatever you want. I have no problem with that. I mean, you gotta move on, right? So yeah, it makes sense. We're good.
In terms of my health is down. Like with making camp and a day of rest, and
it depends. Are you just gonna, because it's early while you got the fight, it's probably like around 11. So if you take all the rest of the day off plus the night, and let's say you start over, you go shopping in the morning until like the dinner time or whatever. So yeah, that would be like I would like probably give you back all your hit points, just like, so you're good. And even I think Nathanu's weak still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're fine if you want. I'll give you a tabula rasa, like they say, tabula rasa, and you're just like you're clean slates. So everyone's like full.
Cool.
You saved your game and you're good to go. So I'll be back in a quick 5. Let's say at 6, 10, 6. Is that good for you people? All right. welcome back. Hey, Ryan, are you going to throw a game on Fridays or going to wait a bit?
So I've got, so I like joined the mandatory fun club, which is going to be next month.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I think once I go through that, I'm going to try to start running games. Yeah, probably Friday mornings. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
What do you have planned for your one shot?
I'm gonna do so. I'm actually going to Gen Con tomorrow.
No way! Yeah, right. You weren't
So-
sure you were going to make it for the fourth session, right?
Yeah.
I just remembered.
I'm
So,
going to actually.
Are you?
Oh, you got to meet. You got to meet, guys.
So I'm running for Magpie. I'm running 4 sessions of Urban Shadows. So that's also what I'm going to do for my one shot because I'm just going to make it easy on myself. So yeah.
Do you saw my character keeper?
Yes,
Oh,
I
you're
did see it. I have seen your character keeper, and I will be stealing it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Wow, a face-to-face game. I don't remember the last time I did that. I'm so used to online gaming, right? I was like, yeah, right. They were using sheets of paper with pencils and dices.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back in game. Well, quickly, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. You'll be so tired on Monday, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, Gen Con. Got to get there once in my life, at least. So, anything specific you want to do with your afternoon, night, and morning? Or did you buy stuff I need to be aware of? Or we're just like, everyone's full and we're good to go?
I'm gonna brew up some kind of poison over the night, and I'm just deciding which one.
No problem. No problem. Nice. Do you have a brewing kit? I mean, it's not written on your equipment. How do you do that? How do you actually brew your poison?
Oh, I didn't realize I needed one.
Wow. I want to know how Felix does his stuff. Is it a simple process? How do you work with this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think his poisons are not like complex alchemical deals. They're probably relatively easy
Stuff
things.
you would think from flowers.
Yeah, maybe
and
flowers
animals.
or just like basic cooking equipment or something like that.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So it's right after, do you say dinner in English? The midpoint, it's dinner, right? You say supper? You
For
don't?
dinner, it's pretty equivalent.
Kind of depends on, at least in the States, depends on what part of the States you're in.
Oh, okay. I see.
Dinners.
Is
I
it
want to
like,
say supper's like a Southern thing, but I could be wrong.
because in French we say breakfast is petit déjeuner, dinner is dîner, and supper is souper, right? So we say supper, kind of, right?
Breakfast, lunch, dinner. So you're looking for lunch.
Yeah, lunch. You're right. Okay, so you just had your lunch, and you're good to go. Nathanu, Fur is explaining to you the way to go, and if you look at your character sheet, he kind of gives you a quick, 101 course on the way he works. Basically, he's like the equivalent of an electric lamp because you can light and unlight him at will. Just by touching the handle, you don't have to give him commands. You have this link. In the sense, if you want him to be lit or unlit, you just have to will it so, and it's going to happen. If he's unlit, he's like dead, right? He's not there. He's inside his lamp, let's say, and probably playing a game or whatever. When he's lit, everything inside his light radius, he can detect magic. But the thing is, he needs to verbalize it to you. You're not detecting magic at will. You need to speak with him and engage with him to get information. So that can kind of be a problem if you're trying to be like stealthy or anything. Then if you choose to let him in and get the ability of your choice for a time, you will be having true sight, like the spell. see like enchantment, illusions, invincibility, and stuff like that. But that's like is you got to give some of yourself up to do that. He's sapping your energy to get more powerful. So makes sense. If you look at the character sheet, I think it's all pretty makes sense. I think I did.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I right as you were directing me to that, I was actually sitting there reading it. So.
Yeah, going, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. So yeah, that's yours. And obviously he's a demon, so anything can happen at that point. But he didn't go into specific of who he is and what he wants and stuff like that. He's been quiet about that. So you go out, and Fur is like pointing the way, saying, "Turn right, 200 paces." Like, you know, a GPS kind of going there and being very like bored about it, and like I've done that.
Right. Is he like a British, like, stay to the right?
Well, if you want to imagine him as is, I mean, I can't do a British accent, but that's if you picture him, it's fine by me. So let's say, yeah, he's very British, and it's tea time. I don't know. Right. So you slowly get out of Rift Town, and he's taking you on a path through some old mine shafts where you see, like, you know, the tender, like, or the raftings and stuff. But you quickly get back in the sewers at one point. But another part, not the part you came in from, and you move your way for like, it's hard to know how long time passes, because usually I think people would use like the sun and stuff as to know how long time had passed. But you know, it's been quite a time that you've been moving down the sewers, and then you get to a point where sorry, I'm just reading. I'm really bad at multitasking today. Right, I'll get to that. So you get to this room, right? And then Fur stops you, and suddenly he's not bored anymore. Said, "Mistress, strong magic ahead. Really strong magic. I can taste it on the tip of my tongue." And you see this like room in front of you. The tunnel you were like in, the point of view you're seeing right there is exactly where you're at as the group standing there. You see like probably the sewers go further down, but you gotta like kind of check in on your left, and the tunnel, like, it's a how do you say that in French? We say cul-de-sac. I don't know. You say it when a passage doesn't go further, right? It stops there, and there's like some light coming down, illuminating this raised circle section, and there's this pile of skulls on it, and you can clearly see from all the eye sockets of the skull light like coming out of those skulls. There's something underneath that's producing like light that's, you know, really intense, like if there was like LED lights, Christmas LED lights inside the skulls. So you see, that's what you're seeing, and Furfur is like, we should go and see what's going on there.
And I'll say, shh, and I'll put my hand up, and I'll like give like 1 second, and I've got like rings on my fingers, and then I think I'll say, time to earn my pay. And then I'll like switch from my heels to on my toes, and I'll like super silently try to sneak up and just like make sure the area's free of traps. Try to find anything. Try to look around and see what's up.
And Orpheus is going to be very wary, but Orpheus is going to try to sense the kind of vibrational energies that might be emanating from this place. I'm looking here to make my bardic lore move, which affects not just creatures but also locations that might have some connection to the undead. And I see Orpheus as mainly being able to pick that up from kind of being very sensitive to kind of the vibrational energies that are emanating from places and beings.
I think we see the camera being very focused on what Felix is doing, taking off his it's not shoes, right? It's like heels. And then we just see your hand, Orpheus. You grab his shoulder and say, wait. Because you can sense, obviously, vibrations, real well. Those vibrations between death and life, of undeath, like all over the place. This place was the site of a battle that went bad. And you can feel hunger inside your guts, right? Death and hunger.
So Orpheus would tell Felix, this place is dangerous. There are bones here, but these bones still have some uncanny energy and hunger that is radiating out from them. And there was a battle here, but I fear that this battle may not be complete, that there is still some unrest radiating from this area.
Are you whispering this?
I'm saying this out loud to you.
Yeah. So if you're saying that out loud, I'll like stop my sneak and turn around, and what will I say? I will say, uncareful, uncouth. What you dress? What is this dress? Are you even a boy or a girl? And I'm just like frustrated because you're like being so loud, and I'm clearly trying to sneak ahead and whatever. And I'm like, and I come up to you, and I'm just like, from now on, when I say shush, you shush, okay? And I point in your face, and yeah, and then I think I will, yeah, and then I think I'll just like smile at you and give you a wink, so you don't know if I'm like being serious or not serious. Like it's just how to take this exactly.
What are our two companions, Nathaniel and Diogenes, doing at this point? I'm seeing you on the behind them, right?
And I think I'll add like, loose lips sink ships is what they say. So keep them, mum's the word from now on. Got it?
And Orpheus will defer to Felix. We'll start to whisper and say, I understand, but I don't want to see you walking into a situation involving the undead without being aware that these are strong forces at work in this area.
Yeah, and I think I'll just smile at him, and he's like, "Poor fool, you underestimate me, my friend. Well, you'll learn, And then I think I just like turn on my heel and then go back to investigating, but without trying to be stealthy, looking for traps and stuff.
So we see Felix starting to move in. You will probably have to get your feet wet if you want to.
I realize. As much as I can, I'm gonna try to like, because if I'm not trying to be silent or sneaky, because our cover is blown, then I will, as much as I can, try to step on the stones and stuff and whatever to stay dry.
I think as they're having their little exchange, I'm gonna get close to Natanu, but say it loud enough so everyone can hear. I'm gonna say Diogenes is gonna kind of get close to Natanu and say, "Polite society's not so polite, eh?" And then, yeah.
You got some hot dice right now. I like that.
And I also have +3 to my deck, so that helps a lot. I also love if like I point with my dagger, and everyone kind of turns to look where I'm pointing, and then when they look back, if it's at all possible, I'm just like, you just don't see me anymore.
It's fine by me. You will. There's nothing implied in it. So basically, you get some agency in the scene. Oh, everyone else, how are you reacting? How are you gonna go ahead with this?
Orpheus, I think is going to have grab a couple of his throwing daggers. I'm not going to be running into the room, though. I'm going to be still there, kind of scanning the area. In particular, looking at where I saw Felix pointing at that movement, kind of keenly looking at what it is that he was pointing to. You're muted.
Any Natalun Diogenes? What's up with you guys?
I will have my blowgun at the ready, and if it's okay with you, Jan, I'd like Taori to find you in your secret place and just kind of like materialize over your shoulder.
It's not okay.
That's all right. Yeah, and so Taori, she will like materialize, kind of close to that crate, like set up and ready to strike.
At Felix? No. And what about?
Yeah, I think Diogenes is just waiting. It's not clear what exactly is going to happen. So I want to see what happens before I decide to do anything.
What form is Diogenes in right now?
He's in human form right now.
Okay.
You have a human form?
Yeah. Although he still has the dog tail. So.
And at that point, you hear like, I can smell you. But now, I really want to taste you. And the gate, the round grate at the end opens like really quickly, and you see like two figures pop out and jump in the water, and there's just a big splash, and you see like two. Orpheus, you know exactly where they are because of your undead barded lore. You see two ghouls. How do you say that? What's on top of the teeth, right? The skin, it's all little gums. The gums, you can, as he's talking, you see he was the source of voice. You see, oh, it's been so long since I ate properly. Yeah, what's up? Just me? Just you? What do you mean by that?
Oh, he was asking if it was him or if everybody was having a weird screen issue with you.
Oh, okay. You don't see me properly?
Yeah, for some reason, everybody else who speaks, I'm seeing except you. So I might drop out real fast and see if that fixes it.
Have you? Did you punch? You know. So maybe if you say yourself, you did. It's not working.
I did not know that. No,
yeah.
I just did it.
You can freeze on someone.
That is helpful. Thank you.
Is that working for you? And then if you want to get back on default ticket, you got to click on yourself again, something like that, and then you'll see like.
It's just a toggle. It just toggles on and off whatever you click.
So we know that Felix is ready to react. They're kind of you see they jumped in the water on both sides. One of them is almost in range of you, but he's not really. If you show yourself at this point, he's going to see you. So you may want to wait a bit for him to advance. There's one on each side. They're probably going to try to go on each side of the upraised circle. They on the middle of the room, so they're probably gonna try to do that. That's the way you see their body posture. That's what's gonna happen, right? The third one is still up there, so that's what you see. But we know that Natanu was ready to fire this blow gun, and also Orpheus had the dagger, the couple daggers, so you can both react really quickly. So I want to start with Natanu here and see what you do. And also Taori, what's going on there?
Yeah, Taori and I are going to strike the closest ghoul. I guess let's say the one on the right for fiction's sake. And so she's going to bite his leg while I fire a dart at him.
All right. So you want to start with volley, or you want to start with your bite here? Because that's a move, right? So you have to roll with quality if you do that. Which one you want to do first?
Okay. Yeah, let's we'll do the quality roll first for Taori. All right, so I got boxcars. And then for the dart, I don't believe that rerolled.
You gotta select both of them with control, and then click submit. I re-roll select and green. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and it's not changing. All right, I'm just gonna clear and start over. That's really weird. I re-rolled it 3 times, and it kept on just being double sixes.
Internet.
All right, there we go. So that'll be 5, 8.
So let's start with Taori. Let's see what goes down there. Because obviously, you got an amazing move. You're trying to use your freeze with bite move, I'm guessing here?
Yeah, definitely.
So I want you to describe us what happens as Taori basically freezes this ghoul all over because you rolled so well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the bite goes into his leg, and you see the ice crystals start immediately, and he probably starts swiping at Taori, but like she mystifies and reappears on his shoulder and bites again into his shoulder, and at that, like he just like completely freezes in place.
Is he like a block of ice, or he's just like like something that's frozen in a icer will be like
it's like
frost?
Dew, like you see like the frost dew on grass and stuff. So it's like that.
So that's the one on the right. So if we look at the picture, our friend Felix is still having problems with the one on the left. Before we do that, I just want to quickly move to Orpheus because you have daggers in hand ready to throw. No, I'm forgetting Nathan actually firing your blow gun. Sorry, right? So you got a choice to make at this point with volley, right?
Yeah, I think I will draw unwanted attention or put myself in a dangerous situation. I think is I'll have to move to take the shot.
Right. I'm guessing since you were going to fire on the same one as your snake was about to attack, and you see this ghoul freeze over, he's not a danger anymore, so you kind of reposition yourself going inside and trying to fire at whichever one you were about to fire, doesn't matter. But you see this their leader, all cloaked in, jump and get on the top of the raised circle there, just behind the skulls. So he's way closer to you now. He's not in reach, but you just like got way more dangerous. And you can see he's like a feet taller than both ghouls, and he's obviously of the same. He's probably a cousin or something. And that's a good way, a segue to move over to Orpheus, because Orpheus, if you could tell me where you've read or where you learned from this, I'll tell you exactly what this third person creature is.
Where I learned about the ghouls and this type of creature. I learned about it from one of the tales about Lord Gregory. Some people don't realize that Gregory, in his retirement, was actually not so much in retirement, but had spent some time beneath Cartannah. And there are some stories that kind of leaked out about what he was doing beneath Cartannah, which involved him doing some investigations into the undead. And one of the reasons why I came to Cartannah was because of these stories, these kind of apocryphal, kind of remote stories that I was picking up on in my travels. And some of the stories involved things such as ghouls and this kind of community of the undead that was beneath the city.
Will you quite remember falling on the Necrogrogery Con book, chapter 6, and you're facing... I'm just having fun. Facing this creature, you remember seeing Gregory was really good at drawing, by the way, and there was this sketch of this creature you're facing. He called it a maestro. Basically, it's like the upgraded version of a ghoul. You can actually like upgrade them, give them more power. He can, what a maestro will do, right? You'll like make them like more dangerous. He's like a ghoul that ate probably too much wizard at one point and got some upgrade. So this guy is probably a magical creature, and he has quite a punch. You know that you're facing something that could probably throw stuff at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about that. All this is coming back to you in a flash, right? And then I guess you're getting ready to fire your daggers.
I think actually, on realizing that, I think I'm not going to use the daggers. Instead, I think you're going to hear Orpheus starting to sing again. And this is going to be a different song, very atonal, discordant type of song. You'll hear it. I imagine this to be a very acoustically lively area with all the stonework. You'll hear this kind of echoing effect going on with the song, and people will recognize that it's directed especially at this figure, not the ghouls, but at the maestro. And what I would be going for is the it goes to 11 move, which if it's effective if it's really effective, it would cause the target to attack the nearest ally. So in other words, the maestro would hopefully attack another ghoul with the confusion created by this.
We'll see what goes down with your dices.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to just know what's Diogenes' plan at this point, as you're saying, because it takes a few seconds. It gives like Diogenes time to figure out his shit, as we say.
So when we came in, so there was this pile of skulls on top of this grate, and all the light was coming out of that. Does that still look like that? So there's still light coming out of the grate, and now we just have these kind of ghouls and this maestro kind of...
It's kind of creepy because the maestro is just behind it, so the lights are like shining inside his hood. And you know, when you take a lamp light and you're going camping, and you're right, telling scary stories. That's the effect he's having. So he looks even scarier at this point.
Well, I think because we're kind of in close quarters here, I can't really do my go-to turn into a bull and charge these guys. So I kind of want to see what's under those skulls and in that grate. So I'm gonna attempt to shapeshift into a field mouse so that I can crawl up there and see what's inside.
We have you shape-shifting. We have Orpheus saying. I think at this point, the ghoul that's still able to move took a few steps closer to get like shoulder to shoulder with the maestro. So you got a clean shot if you want to take it, Felix. You're muted. You were thinking, I think. I'm not
No,
sure.
I wasn't thinking. I just haven't been playing this character long enough to remember my name is Felix. Right. Okay. Cool. I want to see. Is this like I don't know this game well enough, but I really want to try to throw a dagger maybe at one of these guys, but without giving away my position.
Is that backstab? Let's just read the move. Does it say it has to be melee?
It has to be melee. No backstab.
Oh.
Yeah. But this is me just like wanting to be super sneaky.
Well, yeah. I mean, the rules say that when you have someone at your mercy or that's not aware of you, you just deal your damage. So. And backstab, that's what it is. Backstab is you either do your damage or then have a choice to make. So if it's the equivalent kind of. You're just saying, I let you deal your damage. That's it. Because
sorry, no, because that's not. I'm asking if I can attack, but I don't want to. I don't want them to know where the attack came from. I want to continue to be sneaky.
I think that's one of the.
There's an advanced move for that, so I don't think it's typically within the bounds of the rule.
Okay. So in that case, I think I'll quickly suddenly appear from my hiding spot, and the rapier will come out, and you might even hear like the singing kind of ringing, like sing, and you'll see like me put one of my hands behind my back and into sort of a duelist position. And I think you'll see a quick smirk in my face. And then I will attempt to carve my initials in the back of one of these people.
Which would be the goal on the left side, right?
Whichever one is I could reach and sneak up on.
That's the one. Since there was water, if you want to get behind the maestro, it's, I'll have to make another defy danger, but the only one that's really accessible at this point is that one. If that's one.
No, this character isn't Cham. He's just gonna do yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna do the thing that's advantageous.
Right. So are you gonna actually try to do backstab on that goal? Because
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right. So here we go. An enemy with a melee, you can choose. Are you doing your damage or rolling? Basically, you're rolling, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Dex.
Of course you will.
So that's a 10. So I want to do an extra d6 damage, and I want to not get into melee with them.
So go ahead and roll your damage. And I think rapier has a few tags attached to it, right?
Yeah, so I actually got I have I took a dueling rapier. So it's precise and it's has 1 pierce.
So in this case, a precise makes you roll with Dex when you're hacking slashing, which is not what you're doing here. So we've already covered there. But then, piercing is fun.
That's 11 points of damage. Does that kill him?
I'm not even muted. Yeah, it does.
Okay, so I would love,
because of the piercing tab.
yeah, so I would love if, like, essentially you guys don't see anything, and then you just see the ghoul, like, and I'm like, I have him standing in that position where you're standing on one leg and your other leg's kind of crossed in front and in your toes on the water like this, and I'm leaning against that like walking stick, and I've got and I've just got my rapier. Actually, no, I'm leaning on my rapier like this, and like I'm kind of even far away from the battle because we established that I'm not in melee anymore. So like it's just like, and I think I'll just say 2 to go. One down, 2 to go.
Because you probably didn't notice the other one's kind of frozen, or maybe you did, but you're not sure if he's out of combat.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
So I want to get back to Orpheus. I think if it's okay with Diogenes, I think you finish your song. What's going on?
Unmute. So, do you want me to go on and roll? And
yes. Did you save by memory your roll there, or?
I haven't rolled yet.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. So this would be, I get a charisma for this, so it's going to be a 9. And what it says for 7 to 9 is they attack their nearest ally, but you also draw their attention and ire.
Nice. So go ahead and describe what's going on there.
Well, yeah, so this is kind of a curious because, you know, the maestro obviously is affected. You would see the maestro, who is the object of this cacophonous atonal song, which has some type of seems magical quality, getting confused. Obviously, the maestro is picking up on where this song is coming from, but in the confusion, it's also going to become kind of jumbled in its mind, who its allies, who its enemies are. And I you know, part of this is how you want to handle it, but I could imagine him like in his rage then taking some swipe at the frozen ghoul that's nearby, not being really controlled in its attack at this point.
Since the ghoul is frozen, it breaks his arm at the shoulder, and the arm just drops in the water. And then he's like, he sees what he just did, and he looks around a bit as he's getting back his like focus. And we see the last notes of your song, and then he sees ripples on the water, and those ripples are coming from you. So he kind of, I think I'll start with you as a hors d'oeuvre. You'll be the first bite they take. And that's where Diogenes turns into a rat. Mice, field mice. Did you roll your shapeshift? Go ahead and see how many holes you got, or if you turn into a mutated, ugly mice thing.
So I got a 10 total, so no mutated mouse.
What moves does a mouse have?
Yeah.
Move about
I think
unnoticed?
scurry. Maybe, yeah, so maybe scurry would be one, so I could move very quickly. Another, move about unnoticed.
What about like plague or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Grab something useful.
Yeah. So there's 4 moves there. So I think that's probably
That's
good
too
if we're all
much.
good.
Well,
So we'll do 3.
three, yeah.
That's fine.
Which one you want?
Well, since they're already undead, the plague thing's probably not going to be helpful. So we'll do the grab something. So scurry, move unnoticed, and grab something. So obviously I'm trying to move unnoticed. So I'll go ahead and use one of those hold now. And I want to get it to this grate and see why exactly these ghouls were in this area to begin with.
Do you see that line of debris on the left side? That's probably where Felix is standing in this quite elegant pose there. I picture you jumping from one debris to the other, like, and then like Towery is like noticing you, and then figuring out it's you, and being like frustrated. He's not. First of all, he's not alive anymore, because if he was, he would probably want to take a bite. But even then, he realized it's you, and he's like kind of doubly frustrated, right? Because he can't eat you, and he would not even though, because he knows it's you, right? So he just like, and we see you like getting on top of the day and trying to find a place where you can fit in, and just like, and then there's just your tail going inside those skulls, and that's it. Back at Nathanu, since we just talked about Towery, what's going on here?
Well, with the threats coming from this maestro, I think I will stand next to Orpheus, brandishing my spear, and yeah, just be prepared in case it lunges at Orpheus. I'm trying to show Orpheus how in battle you watch out for one another rather than take big risks.
Which brings me quickly back to Orpheus. You asked me early on in chat for your ring and stuff. You want to do a quick flashback and tell us what you did in that room with your ring, so you have your new power?
Yeah, so when I was recovering from my wounds, whenever I was awake, I was taking out that ring, and looking. It has writing on the outside of it, and I think back at the first session, I had noted that I have these kind of elaborate tattoos, but if you look really closely at the tattoos, you see that it actually is a very kind of very micro form of writing that is actually my songbook. And I'm actually finding out that some of the writing on this ring is matching up with some of this tattoo work that I have, which was put on me when I was initiated into this order of bards, but it wasn't fully explained to me all that this tattooing meant. But I was able to kind of, through kind of cross-referencing things, was able to kind of figure out what, if not what the meaning of this was, at least the sounds that I could produce to activate the magic of the ring, and to hopefully control that magic a little bit better.
But you notice that to make this work, you need to put words to it so it makes sense in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to do this?
Well, yeah, so I was able to kind of start, to figure out the words that I would need to put together. And there was a kind of poem or a rhyme that kind of emerged out of this.
So if you want to use your fireball, you'll have to impress us. So, here we go. So Felix, you've been impressive enough. What are you going to do now to impress them more?
So to be clear, it's just this last guy, right? The guy with the teeth, right?
Well, we have a frozen ghoul missing an arm that's not moving. So obviously, losing an arm and not reacting, you probably figuring out he's not in the fight anymore. So yeah, there's
So
a Maestro, which is pissed at Orpheus right now.
Yeah, so I think I will say, "Ooh, excuse me, one to go," and then I will like feign like just like stretching and yawn and then kind of scratch my head and then like I throw a throwing dagger out from behind somewhere in some hidden spot behind me.
Are you gonna use that occasion to do a combo shot and throw your spear, Natanu?
No, Natanu was pretty set on staying in defense.
So go ahead and roll volley, please, Felix. Then I want to know what Orpheus is going to do. And then I want to know, I'll move on to, we'll see what happens.
13.
13, okay. So do your damage.
Pretty bad. Just 3.
Well, it's a start. Right. So here's our Maestro. You see your dagger go in, and you're relieved to see it's actually affect him in some way. But there's no blood that's spilled, but he's reacting in equivalent of pain, I guess. He's like, well, no pain. It's just like the chunk of the dagger going inside the side of his like shoulder muscle here. And he just like turns around and then notices you for the first time. And you'll be the main course. Like in those fancy restaurants. Small but very tasteful.
I would say, my friend, if I'm anything, I'm dessert. You're muted, Maxime.
Orpheus!
All right. So, given the placement, I mean, I am obviously thinking about this ring. I've seen the fireball go off once before. I mean, if I was able to control this, am I putting others? I mean, in terms of where, if I'm aiming it at the Maestro, given what I know about the explosion that happened earlier, is this going to be? I'm wondering what kind of, from what I know from my earlier blast, is this fireball going to encompass the whole area or?
Well, I will tell you this. It's going to affect Felix for sure. It's going to graze him. And you don't know where he went, but you saw Diogenes from the corner of your eyes turn into a mice and then go forward. So he's somewhere in the room and you have no idea where. So, yeah, collateral damage is probably going to happen. That's the thing with fireballs, right? It's really powerful, but it's not precise.
Correct.
It's not a you don't it's not a snipe gun.
Right. Yeah, I think given that, I don't think Orpheus really, I think given what happened earlier, the idea of collateral damage with allies is not one that Orpheus, I think, is quite wanting to risk at this point. So
if you roll a nice defy danger intelligence, you'll get a proper angle of fire to do something nice. Try that out. That's mine. So I mean, if you roll a failure, you're not firing a fireball. It's just something else is gonna happen. So you're not firing. You're just looking at angles, like like when you're playing pool, right?
Okay. So in other words, I would roll that now to see whether I have a
defy intelligence to find the proper like target
angle. Okay.
Angle.
right, here we go. Oh, I'm very bad. So I rolled a 3, and my intelligence makes it a 4. But
So the maestro is about to unleash his magic on you. We see like he's like vomiting some dark, like smoky something out of his mouth. It's circling his forearm, getting to his hand. He's like, just like, now I gotta cook my meal.
How dangerous this thing really is, and I am going to call on the spirits, so pulling out the heads again, I say to them, "Bind it, so it may only speak." And you see this rush of the spirits kind of leaving their body or their heads, and I will roll for cast the spell. That's a 10. So that's hold person. So this creature can only and take no other actions until I cast a spell or leave line of sight with it.
Amazing. Can you still hear me? But you can't see me. Oh, here I am. So you want to describe what happens with the spirits and how they do this exactly? Because it's working.
Yeah. I think one of the heads like bites the tip of his finger, and then another one kind of like bites onto his ear. And as he like starts to writhe to shake those off, he like just slows to the point that like he's immobile, and so his head can still move, and he's probably cursing these things, to the hells that he came from. But
as all of this is going down, we see the camera panning, zooming in the skull mound, gaining inside one of the eye sockets of the skull, one of the skulls. It's full light. And then we see a small mice on the bottom of the well, which is hidden underneath the skulls. There's a crate on top. That's what's holding the skulls. He's perched on a small rock because all of the bottom of this well is in water, and the Diogenes doesn't know. You have a dog tail, but it's really small, right? And you're flapping your tail because you're looking at the treasure you found down here, wondering how you're going to bring it back up as you're in this form, because you're looking at the source of the light, and so that you can all see. And you have this sword that's nudge. Really can't.
I can hear all this. Is to let one of the other in my party know what I've found down here. That's my intention coming out, but I assume that might change when I see what's going on.
Well, the closest one you could go to right now is Felix. Backside.
Was it like a similar sort of runic alphabet kind of thing? Okay. And maybe similar to the stuff that we saw on the scrolls and the rubbings? No? Well, I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of the grate, and if Felix is the closest, I'm going to do the same thing that I did kind of when I changed from the hawk. So I'm going to scurry back behind Felix and turn back into human form and kind of tap him on the shoulder.
How is Felix reacting to that?
I don't know. Can I roll to see if I see him or something like that?
Depends. Is Diogenes spending all to scurry, or just like
I think I would have, yeah, because I'm still trying not to get noticed by that, or at least I was trying not to get noticed by the.
I didn't
By the way,
track
well,
them?
I kind of disagree because
You
specifically,
did?
Just trying when he kind of reverted back to human form from the hawk. So, yeah. So he's just trying to get to human form from the hawk.
make this like gross kind of, and like just like be cringing away from him.
Yeah, and I think Diogenes likes that reaction. And he's just gonna, smile and fancy man child. There's some treasure down in that grate.
Yeah, so well, we'll wait till my turn, and I'll respond to all that.
Orpheus, you just know that Natanu saved your life, probably. You know that something bad was going to happen to you, and now it's snuffed out as this maestro is cursing you all. What you do?
And the maestro is I mean, he's cursing, but he's that the maestro has been somewhat immobilized. I think Orpheus is going to go to the throwing dagger and will turn to Natanu and say, I appreciate what you have done. Let's finish this now. And will then throw a dagger at the somewhat immobilized form of the maestro.
I'm picturing, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm picturing you being cocky. I don't know. It doesn't, I'm seeing.
What? We'll see if I can roll a little better this time. So I got a 6. So it's a 7.
If you look at volley, you'll have a choice to make.
Right.
Lose 1 ammo, get into a position of danger, or only
Somewhat, flabbergasted that, there's this immobile figure, and he throws one dagger. It kind of glances off the.
Oh, it breaks! It shatters! It shatters on the wall.
Okay, but quickly kind of grabs a second dagger to follow up, and that dagger hits true, and is I'm not not going for the face, but going for the immobile body. Damage.
There's no pain reaction and stencils on you. Stop.
I'm like kind of maintaining that, so I probably every minute or so whisper to the heads, and a different probably every minute or so whisper to the heads, and a different spirit comes out and clamps on it as as the old ones fade away. It's a process that's got to be maintained.
Furfur at one point looks at you. Don't you dare throw me in there. This thing's filthy.
Oh, Furfur, you've been trapped in a lantern, and you're still worried about getting dirty. I don't understand you.
Well, if I'm gonna get dirty, at least I want her to be nice looking, okay?
How do I turn you off? Go away. Shut up. Be gone.
He's like, ha! And he's...
I think while you guys are talking, I'll interrupt you, and I'll be like,
a chance for you to commune directly with your studies. I know you like reading books, but I find that direct application is more effective. if you'd like to find anything out, he's just going to sit there until you're done.
So you all hear this. So I'll go back to Felix.
And I'm just kind of getting bored of. So I'm leaning against my thing. I take out a coin and throw it at him.
So he's just gonna bark at him, and then say loud enough for everyone to hear. Yes, the treasure. It's got words on it, kind of like the lady boy's markings.
Yeah, so I think like because I wasn't looking, because I rolled my shot, I wasn't looking, and I was just like kind of showing off. I actually miss, and maybe I hear the like dagger hit against the wall, and just as it hits, I kind of like cringe, and I just like turn around, raise an eyebrow, and I'm just like kind of shaking my head in disappointment of myself. Yeah, so I rolled and I missed. So you get to make a move.
I think you hit one of the skulls and your dagger goes like hilt deep in one of the eye sockets, and then that skull cries in pain, and you see all the skulls turn and face you.
And I think when they do that, I'll be like, oh, that's creepy.
And Diogenes will attempt to slap you on the shoulder. And as he does that, say, nice shot, man boy.
Yeah, and definitely I'm not letting him touch me. Yeah. I like catch his wrist and be like, please don't touch. I thought we spoke about this.
Orpheus, you see, you know, like you're in this classical orchestra, and when like several like more instruments start to, then like you would do.
Okay, so I see the skulls turning and moving.
Yeah, don't forget they have like
So can I just add one quick thing I think that I would do is like, I'll do it casually, but I will just like casually switch positions so that Diogenes is in front of me.
ha! You see him put on the ring.
Yeah. Natanu huffs, like kind of just like, and I'm moving as far away, like up against the wall as possible, and Taori's spirit kind of like goes through the ghoul that's still there and rests on your arm with the ring and just like is wound around, and you feel that cold. She's not like being aggressive to you, but she's hissing and making known what you're doing.
Diogenes, you have a vivid picture of a new going.
Turn to feeling child.
Yeah,
and as he kind of creeps back.
Yeah, I think as you're stepping back, I'm like keeping the distance between us and using you as like a divider between the, you know, the fight and the skulls and all that.
If you tell us your poem, song, whatever, Orpheus, you'll get to roll with charisma, not intelligence.
Okay.
Spell.
So the chant, and it seems kind of strange, but you're able to kind of pick up on the meaning of the words, and it goes like this: when all is dark, your position dire, seize the spark and unleash the fire. And Orpheus has the ring on, has the rapier out, and when he said, "Throw,"
Roll for cast a spell with charisma. Your friend.
I guess of those options, of those options, put yourself in a spot.
That's painting a big target sign on yourself. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Right. You can. Inside that, do it, right? So the draft, and all the skulls are pushed by the draft, and they'll.
I don't want them to be around. Oh, Orpheus? What's going on with them? Are between life and death?
Yeah, and I guess Orpheus with that would start to take an even closer look at those skulls and see what, in terms of the vibrations that they're putting out, whether I've kind of had any encounter with this type of a vibrational energy of the undead that I see coming from those skulls. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we've got company, I think.
Let's go quickly before they get legs or something. Everybody, let's go.
How is Felix and Diogenes reacting as the fire almost gets to you?
Wisely, and now they're saying,
Lock. You'll have to pick the lock if you want to open the grate and get inside the shaft and the well.
"Oh, I see. Okay, so in that case, then I will. I'll say. Well, yeah, I'll say. I'll say the same thing I said about a treasure being the entire point, and then I will say, like, would someone be so kind as to offer diversion, or like keep these skulls distracted, and then I'll go over with my gloves and I'll start to try to pick this grate or whatever, if there's like a lock on it, or if it's, I don't know."
You're muted.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I'll have you roll for that. I just want to see, as you're reading all of Felix telling you that he needs a diversion, are you actually going to help him out, or are you running through your lives and leaving him in his cupidity? I did that on purpose.
I want to see Diogenes' reaction. I think this like fits perfect in his flags.
Yeah. So as Felix is kind of suggesting that he's going to try to get this grate open, I imagine that Diogenes is still, he backed up when the fireball had gone off. And so he's still kind of removed as far as possible from everything that was going on. And so he's just going to shout across the chamber, however far away Felix has managed to get. He's just going to say
on the left of the picture, right? You're probably on top of that, like
pile of debris there.
Causeway, no, further down there, the causeway you see on the right.
So like already kind of towards around the corner there. Okay. So I'm just going to shout over to Felix. We've already lost one member to greed. Gonna make it a second.
I think when you say that, I'll yell back as I'm picking these locks, like, so then we're dividing it by 3 then. Good news. Yeah, dividing our spoils by 3.
So, Nathanu, Orpheus, Taori.
I will say real quick before Nathanu and Orpheus decide to act, after having kind of taunted Felix, Diogenes is going to turn to them and say, the sword did have runes on it, though.
Yeah, you can see, everyone picture this. You see Felix with like the light from the shaft, since the skulls are not there anymore. It's like, you know, like in those rock shows or when you're going discos, right? There's like light coming from underneath him, and it's we see his face like probably full of greed, and is like, you know, like leaning over the crate with LED lights coming out of it, like, ooh.
Trade, by the way, Maxime? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yes, you do. I think one of the options is do it quickly too, or something like that, if I remember by heart. Let's see, trick of the trades. Oh, no, okay.
Oh, well, I failed. I go another horrible roll.
By the way, Nathanu, no, not Nathanu. Are you marking XP for failures, people? Don't forget, huh?
I am, yeah.
So you failed.
The way I picture this, like, is it's probably I'm just trying to like not touch stuff, you know, like I need to take my gloves off because it's like pretty precise work, and I'm just like trying to lean or something like on because I need to get down and use my tools, but I'm just like, just like and maybe like I'm like just like awkwardly working, trying not to touch anything.
Well, I'll give you a choice here. You do it quickly, but you use you're gonna lose your lockpicks because they're gonna jam in. Or if you don't lose your lockpicks, it's gonna take a long time because you're disgusted by this lock. So if you want to succeed, the skulls will probably get to you eventually. Some of them, I've noticed that you're fumbling with the lock right now, and you see like probably half of them are still looking at Orpheus, but some of them are slowly turning your way. So you know, because you seem like they don't have spotlights anymore, but you can hear like, you look the other way and you see like a few skulls coming your way. What you want to take here?
Yeah, so I think treasure is precious to Felix, and but his own life is more important. Like he's not like Cham. He's not like whatever. He's just like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna run away now. So I think he'll choose the first option to get his lockpicks jammed in there, but he can get it open and grab the treasure if that's possible.
I'm picturing you trying to do this. It's not working for you. So you kind of kick it at one point, and like the lockpicks like jam in, and that's what like opens the grate. You know, like you're frustrated.
Yeah, I'll use like my heel of my like nice fancy shoe
So we see all those little pieces of lockets going up.
Yeah, and I think you see like you see me trying to do it steadily, like or whatever, and then I get frustrated and I get on top of this thing and I'm just like, "Guh, guh, guh," and I get it, and there's like beads of sweat, and I wipe it away and like fix my hair and like make sure it's not because my hair went kind of sideways, and then I'm like, and I look down like with my hands akimbo, like, finally done.
But the thing is, you don't have your gloves on, so you can't really touch the grate, huh?
Well, that's when I put my gloves back on. You're muted, Max.
Orpheus, Natanu. You're like the closest to the obvious danger. What's your plan of action? Are you moving to get closer to Diogenes? Or you what's the plan here?
I had headed down whatever tunnel we didn't come from. I'm out of the scene. I expect everybody would just follow.
So you went and joined Diogenes on the causeway on the back there, waddling through water?
Yeah, if that's the direction we're going, yes.
If you want to stay with Diogenes, yeah. So you started moving your way through. So you're wearing robes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm picturing you holding the lantern in one hand and part of your dress, and on the other your spear and the other part of your dress, a bit like up on your knees and just.
I think I would. One question about the skulls. So the skulls are still active.
Yeah, but they're slow.
They're slow. Okay. So yeah, I think I would be going with Natanu, and as we're running, I think I would put one hand, if Taori is still on my one arm, I will put my hand on Taori and say, Natanu, Taori, if we get out of this situation, it will be due to you. And I hope that I've done at least a little bit to help make up for that terrible deed that I did when I first cast the fireball.
Taori is going to give you a ghostly little slithering kiss on your cheek there,
and I will reciprocate with a little tongue lick of my own.
Yeah, and if I see that, I'll just like cringe again, and I'll be like, uncouth, uncivilized, and now bestiality. What the company I'm with.
Oh, there's a reply that Diogenes could give you here. Oh, man.
Felix, are you coming? We must go.
He's like, I think he replies like, priorities, gentlemen, priorities. And he's trying to, he's like, maybe takes his like rod out and pries it, gets it into the grate and opens it. And he really wants to get this sword.
Well, the good news, since it's a great sword, it's in reach to you. You just have to lean down and you can grab the pommel.
Yeah, so I do that. I grab it, and then as soon as I grab it, I just like, yeah, get the heck out of there.
I'm picturing Felix like with the walking stick, the great sword on his shoulder, and like treasure.
Him trying not to like get any like mud or spatter from it on him, and then if he catches up to the party, I think he'll take his glove off, fix his hair, and then toss it to them, and I think I'll say like, well, it seems I've managed to prove my worth, and I think I've paid for myself right here, and that's when I toss the sword in front of them. Put it to good use, chaps.
Am I muted?
No, you're not.
Oh, okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna paste it on your character sheet. I want you to quickly look at it before you do that, okay? Because it's really light in your hands. Something's up here. And I did this before I knew what character you're gonna do, so it has a precise tag.
Oh, Snapdaggle. That's interesting. Yeah, so I guess when I'm pulling it, I feel that it's quite light, and then if I feel that, I think I will. Yeah, I think I'll like have the staff and the sword, and I'll just like looking at them both, and I'm like, and then I toss like the staff to I don't know to Diogenes, like knowing like he's not gonna want it, but just ironically, and I'll just say like I prefer this 25%, and I'll just yeah maybe take out some like cloth and just start polishing it and getting all the dirt off of it.
And when you have a chance, because we're gonna take a quick bio break, we'll be back at 12. Read up the move. It's down your character sheet now.
Sounds
Like
good.
like a knife through butter.
Sounds
See,
good.
10. I'm back.
Technically, which was
fire. You look like you are in need of some.
I'll.
Scale of 10 with this in your hands, my friend Orpheus. But you're a bard, right? You like to flash. So this is so you have no problem seeing your way, and the light is really like it's like LED light, so it's not a light you're used to. You're used to like torches, lanterns, and a bit of magical light, but this sharp, crisp white light that we all take for a given, your characters, you're not used to this, right? It's really something. And we see you going down those steps, further down the sewers, and at one point, after many hours of going through the maze and fighting your way through more undead, you get to this room. Yes, you can thank me. I'm amazing. I know.
Thank you. What happens when we get in there? What's on the other side?
I'm a map, not the crystal ball.
I think while this conversation is happening, I'll do the same thing where I like walk ahead and I do like the like whatever, and then I'll duck around a corner and maybe they'll lose sight of me. And I want to sneak up and do some scouting if that's possible. Searching for traps, searching for hidden people, searching as much as possible.
So you're going for trap expert?
I don't know. I'm looking around for as much as I can. So you tell me which is a better move for me to roll.
Go with discern rallies, I think, because you're not specifically looking for traps. You're looking for everything, right? You're like scanning around.
Well, I'm looking for everything I can find. Like, right, I'm looking for traps, whatever. I mean, I guess I have to choose one, I suppose. I think maybe I will do the trap expert. Yeah, when you spend a moment to survey the dangerous area, I think that's what I'll do. You're muted, Max.
Roll. Sorry if I'm weird. I'm tired.
So that is 11. So yeah, I will.
Basically, you pretty much get all three. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll ask. Is there a trap here? If so, what activates it?
There is a trap. The archway up the stairs there. It's gonna fall on you if you step on the still. Is that how you say that? The thing that's on the bottom of a
threshold, maybe?
The threshold. Thank you. If you actually threshold, something's gonna happen. And there's also a trap on the right stairs. So there's two traps. The trap on the right stairs is going to activate if you don't jump on the second step and then use every second step going forward.
Right. And then the next question I'll ask is, what does the trap do when activated?
Right. So the one of the stairs, you notice some people's little holes in the side of the wall. It's probably going to fire like little darts at you. And the other one is the obvious. A gate's going to fall and cut you in half.
Yeah. And then the last, of course, is what else is hidden here?
Nothing.
Well,
that's a valid answer.
Yeah. I think we'll.
And if I say nothing, just because in other games that it's not be obvious. If I say nothing, I always, as a game master, always give you the truth. There really is nothing. So there's no anything traps or anything because you use your move here.
Yeah, so I think a few moments goes by, and then I like finally like come out of on the opposite corner that I had like ducked around, and you said the right stairs have the trap on it, right? So I'll say like, follow me along the left path, please. Be very careful. Avoid the right at all costs, and then. And when I take you to the gate, do take care to not step on the threshold, unless, of course, you'd like to be decapitated. Trust me, please. I am a professional.
Your prose is good. I'm still thinking I'm better.
And then to that, I think, like, I would say, demons aren't included in polite company. So you would do well to keep your mouth shut, unless, of course, we ask something of you.
Oh, you're asking me to shush politely. Oh, I see. Sorry.
Is this the doorway that was spoken about in that poem? I'm trying to remember the phrasing of it now. Was it a serpent's head that we had to poke the eye? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, it's an archway that goes. If you don't step on the threshold, there's nothing blocking your path. There's no doors, and I think it goes into another room inside. So if it's a door,
bring me news, and we're gonna kind of check out this next area and look for what can be found in there.
Once everyone's over the threshold, I'd love to like just take my cane out with a flourish and then just kind of like click the threshold with the tip of my cane just to see the avoided position, to see it come down.
you're gonna bar yourself the way out if you do that.
Well, I mean, like this passageway leads in, like we're not in a tiny room, right? Or
Well,
we're like,
I'll show you. You decide. Because obviously you're in now. The first thing is, I mean, it's Tauri that's going to go and get the details, but you have eyes so you can see. Pretend you're doing it, but just like not doing it, and everyone is jumping and looking back. And
no. I kind of understood that this passageway was like this would continue deeper in the whatever. So I definitely wouldn't do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on our way out. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Exit. Yeah.
That's cool. Right. So Tauri's moving in, and we get a view of what she's seeing. So she's low to the ground, but she's a spirit. So she starts slow, and then she remembers she's a ghost. So we see the camera like goes up because we're inside her eyesight, and then it flips over, and we see her like moving around the columns and like just like doing spirals and moving all about the place and getting closer to what's on the far side of the room, which is a fountain with some intricate carvings on it. Oops, Spencer, you still with us? Okay. And it looks like death with wings or something, but in the hood, it's like this big, huge eye. And from those ends, like there's a trickle of water that falls into this bowl, and it makes like noise. And there's like a big spider scurrying around in the room, but they're big, but not that big. So they're a threat. You could probably squash them with your boots. And she comes back and wraps herself around your shoulder, and we go back to you all four standing there with Tauri.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna turn to Diogenes and say, there's spiders ahead. They look fairly mundane, but of all the creatures, not my favorite. Do you know any way to deal with them?
Diogenes would probably know, but I don't.
I mean, like all sorts of frogs eat amphibians eat spider. Yeah.
I was trying to think of some sort of bird.
What would live in a big plane? Some type of ostriches?
I was thinking more of a plane, like in a.
Could be like an anteater or aardvark type of creature.
Oh yeah, that could be cool.
a spider eater. Yeah, why not? Let's see if I can change into something that will suck up spiders.
Cats also, I think. So maybe like a big, I don't know. Cats will hunt spiders in your house, right? I'm just trying this.
I think when you say that there's spiders, and I look over at Diogenes, and I'm like, a spider's nest. Ah, so you should feel quite at home then.
All right, so 14 total. So yeah, let's say that on the plains, kind of around the farmland where Diogenes is from, there is some sort of like aardvark like creature. But instead of having a snout that goes down into ant hills to get ants, its snout is made to go into spiders' nests and suck the spiders, kind of the baby spiders, out of the nests. So I change into that. And it's got the bushy kind of gray dog tail. And I want to do kind of like a circle Felix before I leave, like deliberately several times before making my way towards where these spiders were.
What are your moves? Suck in?
Yeah, certainly consume spider. Let's see. I think also maybe
bury in.
Yeah, like a burrow sort of move.
Burrow, sorry.
No, yeah, I like that. So like a burrow move, consume spider. I think also maybe I like an aardvark. I've kind of got like a long sort of tongue, but it's more kind of like how a snake uses its tongue to kind of for sensory perception and not so much for consuming. So maybe
taste your way around or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How do you want to approach this? And will you go in first? What are all your friends doing as you're changing into this quite common creature that I don't no idea what it looks like, but I kind of see him. I see the snout being a bit bigger, right, than an ant eater would be, but that's it. Apart from and the tail, obviously, but apart from that, it pretty much looked like what it's supposed to. What kind of color is it though? Just so I want to picture it in my head.
It's kind of like a beige brown, sort of just a tan, kind of boring color. But of course, then it has that big gray, bushy dog's tail.
Okay, so go with the obvious, huh? So, are you letting him do his work here, his cleaning work, guys?
Now, at this point, Felix has the rod. Is that correct? So Orpheus is going to turn to Felix and say, Felix, I think this is it. This is the den of the black dog. And I think now is the time for the rod. And I will point up to that fountain. You said that there's a little that is referenced that's where you need to put the rod.
Yeah, I think right when you say like, this is the den of the black dog, and I will like look at Diogenes pointedly, and I was like, my thoughts exactly. I think I think I'll like flip the cane. So I'm holding like the gemmed N, and I'll pass it to you, Orpheus, and I'll say like you seem to know what you're doing. Please do the honors.
Felix, you're not afraid, are you? I mean, you are the one that gave up the sword to continue on with the rod.
You misunderstand. The rod is mine. I'm keeping that. I just mean you can use it. I'll let you touch it, and I'll let you borrow it for a moment.
I think he's offering you a flag here.
Um, yeah. Okay, if you want to cede the honors to me, then sure, why not? I'll humor you and take it.
So just one before we go and see how is it called? The thing you use to clean up your floors. It's called a
Vacuum.
Thank you. In French, there's no correlation at all. It's called an aspirateur. Don't ask. Sex and stuff, whatever. Okay, so before we see what's going on there, Nathanu, quickly, something up, or you're just like waiting for?
I was just kind of waiting for that anteater scene. I didn't want to interrupt.
No problem. So, Diogenes, are you gonna clean house before Orpheus goes in and?
Yeah, but I think before I clean house, I do want to spend a hold to kind of sniff around to make sure that it's just the spiders that I'm dealing with while I'm up here.
There's no hidden surprises here. No giant mother.
All right, so then I will spend another hold to consume the spiders.
I will tell you this. If you go ahead and do this, you can either have to defy danger with con, because you'll be full, or spend 2 holds.
So I don't think I can spend 2 because I've only got 1 left.
Oh.
So I guess that just leaves me the defy danger con. So let me.
Hmm.
12. So I'm
One of
full,
this-
but not.
Yeah,
overfull.
you know, the feeling after a big bowl of pastas. Yeah. So you see him coming back from behind one of the columns, guys, and he's like blotted, right? He's fucking huge. Sorry, I just swear. I just swear. He's huge, right? His belly is all dented, and since you're sucking them in, some of them are actually probably still alive in there. You kind of feel them waggling in as your digestive system is doing its work, right? It's kind of not really fun what's going on in there, and you're kind of thinking, if I change back into human or another form that's used to digest spiders, will my stomach be able to? You're kind of asking yourself, right? Because at this point, it's like you're overloaded with these spiders. So it's a thing to think about.
I think Diogenes would be fine hanging out in spider eater form. Yeah.
So, Orpheus, as Indiana Jones music kicks in, we see you approach the fountain, and as you get closer, you see that there's actually like some smears of something dark, like splash over some sections of this sculpting there. It's like someone like painted or like smeared something and it dried there as you're getting closer with the eye. And you see the eye, the pupil of the eye is actually, you guessed right, it's empty. It's like you can stick something in. There's an hole.
And Orpheus looks carefully at these splashes. I mean, is it blood that I see, or?
I think you can try to discern realities here.
Okay. Because I'm thinking about that part of the poem, "Mark the red path with your blood in ascending order," and what exactly, and whether this may, and these blotches, are they like different places going up the fountain? Is that okay? Yeah. So should I roll for the discern realities?
If someone wants to aid you at this point, because just so that everyone's a part of the action, I have no problem with that. You could have like this discussion or something or whatever.
Yeah, I'll call Natanu over and say, Natanu, before I do this, could you, look at these marks and see?
And don't forget, you have a thief with you now.
Yeah, so I'll definitely come along. But I think rather than helping them with this thing, I'll just be like kind of really carefully kind of taking in the situation, because this smacks of like maybe a trap or like maybe something. So I'm just going to be poised to act. I'm ready to spring into action if need be.
So Natanu, what's up with you? And by the way, Diogenes, I'm not gonna punish you. You're fine now.
Yeah, probably at the moment that Orpheus muttered under his breath, "Is that blood?" I was already there, and so I've got my ritual dagger out.
Are you asking me, sister?
I'm acting out like what it would look like to cut and smear, and so we're just investigating.
That's your aid, huh? It fits perfectly. So go ahead and discern realities, Orpheus. If you want to roll a trap expert, you can go ahead, Felix.
So I rolled 11, and with discern realities, what is it with wisdom?
Indeed.
Okay, so that would be a -1, so it would be a 10.
Which is okay, right? You get 3 questions.
Right. So
I'll let you think about it. You can consult your partner here if you want, Natanu, see what you want to ask because you worked in team. Felix, are you just ready to spring, or are you actually looking for traps? What's your... And also, as you're thinking about it, Diogenes, I don't want to leave you out. What's your plan here? Whichever one to go for.
Yeah, no, I think I don't think Felix is searching for traps right now. I think he's let his guard down a little bit. I think he feels like Orpheus is pretty confident with what he's doing. He's working on the little fountain, but I do think he is like I said, he's scanning. You can see on his face that he's like poised if there's a need.
Okay, we'll say if something happens, you'll be able to react. Is that good?
Yeah, sure.
You're muted, Max.
No, it's in your minds. You see, it's not me. It's actually internet doing stuff on you guys because we've been looking at the screens and stuff. So, Diogenes, what's going on with you as you're seeing your 2 friends? Well, actually, all 3 of them are pretty focused on what's going on in front of them, right?
Yeah. So if my stomach has calmed down, I think I'll go ahead and revert to my human form.
You have to blurp though. It's
I will burp as I gladly revert to human form. Maybe a spider kind of comes out with the burp, and I think I'd probably be curious what was going on with the fountain. So I don't want to get in their way, but I am gonna kind of keep an eye on what they're doing at a, maybe over their shoulder or a couple paces back or something like that.
Yeah, as you approach, I'm going to hand you the lantern. To hold for us.
Wow! How many of you is there in there? What's it's the whole country? Mice, serpent, owl? Which one are you really? Oh, the things you've done in life. Oh, ooh. The whole pack? In one night, you dirty mongrel.
And I'll give, since he has the same kind of snooty attitude that Felix seems to have, I'll give him the same bark that I gave to Felix. Maybe sniff at him in a little bit.
Don't try flirting with me. I'm not your type. Yeah, so guys, what actually have you decided to throw at me?
So
I've not been following the chat, so.
So one question would be what happened here recently?
A nest of small spider became way bigger when they started to eat the mices that used to live here. And dust was slowly settled in this place as no humanoid form has been here a long time. You actually see that some like mice, how do you say that? Dried up like mice, like little.
Oh, carcasses or skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should ask what's useful or valuable then too, instead of the other ones.
Well, you just ask one. You can't retcon that, right?
Well, no, because
you have three.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying the second one you may change. The second is fine as long as it's not on the table. Yeah. Since I didn't follow the chat, I have no idea what's coming.
Okay, yeah. So for the second one, what here is useful or valuable to me?
The water is magical. You can see it glittering, and actually, Orpheus, you go beyond the sound of the water splashing in that fountain. It was kind of hard for you to cue in at first because of the sound of the water, but underneath you can hear the vibration of magic there. And you, Nathaniel, you can see the sparkling of, you've seen these kind of things. Both of you kind of realize there's an effect that could be gained from probably drinking or touching the water.
Okay.
And I think because, well, it's probably really precious. It's a good effect.
I'm also for the last question. I'm thinking about what should I be on the lookout for? Does that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so what should I be on the lookout for?
If you poke with the rod in the eye, something's gonna happen for sure. But you kind of think doing that will start something in motion that's been going on for a long time, and it may affect the water in some way. Are you telling this to the group as you're like kind of realizing this so everyone's on the same page?
Yeah, I don't really see a need to hide what information I'm taking. I think of Orpheus recognizing that that water has something magical. I'm gonna dip my hand into the water and to kind of take a close look at it in my hand.
It smells like lavender. A strong smell that you've smelled 2 times before.
Wait, Bethany was wearing lavender perfume or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is my candle scented like lavender? The one that the witch gave me?
No,
No? Okay.
the cultist did.
Well, I guess we need to decide whether.
So I'm gonna take a scoopful as well and say to Orpheus on the count of 3.
I'm in. Well,
Okay.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I guess we both drink. Let's see.
Okay, it's kind of weird because, right, Orpheus, you're an elf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nathanu, you're an elf. How old are you?
I never thought of that. Let's say 120. I think that's middle-aged or getting close to middle-aged.
And I think Orpheus is a little younger, maybe 90.
So you both drink about the same amount?
Yeah, a handful, like double handful we scoop up.
I'm going to give you a number, but of course, I mean, you don't get the number. It's just like, so you know exactly what's going on. You just lost 20 years. That's not aging. I mean, you just went younger.
Yeah.
If I see this happen,
well, no, because the elves don't change that much. That's the thing. They feel it, but you don't see it because both elves drank. So there's a catch-22 here.
I imagine that even though elves like age very slowly, they still do age, right? So 20 years is still, I think, a lot. Like,
oh, I'll let the elves decide.
Like, do we see anything visually change with you guys, or do you stay the same?
I mean, maybe the thing to do here would be like some type of discern realities roll as to whether.
Well,
we'd be able to notice any.
This is just fiction. I don't. I think personally, it's more interesting if maybe there's no visual thing, but both of us like say something like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
Do you? I feel
horny.
I feel horny suddenly.
Well, you don't have to say that out loud, but that's what you're feeling.
I feel more powerful, like I was young again.
And I feel stronger after all that I've been through. This seems to have really rejuvenated me and lifted my spirits.
I think when you guys both say that, I think I'll take a step, pull out a rag, dip it in, and then like start polishing my shoes with the rag.
Well, their shoes are cleaner, but there's no effect more than that. They don't turn new again.
Yeah, but I think I do a good job of polishing, and then I'm like, it took the years right out of them.
Sorry, I was muted. I just want to know Diogenes' reaction here because I think you have a strong viewpoint of everything, huh?
Yeah, I don't think Diogenes is suspicious. He feels that in some way this is unnatural to kind of turn back time like this, to not age as one is supposed to not die, perhaps. So he's very skeptical right now.
And he has good reason
he's not, Yeah, he's not, certainly not drinking. And he's not his usual asshole self. The jerkiness has dropped away. He's very serious right now.
Orpheus, I need to ask you a really important question, and I need the answer now. Are you a woman or are you a man?
The GM's trying to hit your flags.
No, it has to do with the fiction.
I hadn't really decided, but
You don't like maybe just send them a secret message or something.
No, because I mean, I'll say it to you. If you're a man, nothing is gonna happen. If you're a woman, something's gonna happen.
I'll say I'm a woman.
All right. You feel pain in your wrist as you're like all like having your high right now, but then you're crashing and you grip the rail of the fountain. And Nathanu, you see this, and the second later, you feel a pain in your wrist too. And as you look at the wrist, you see the marking. Remember that marking?
Mm-hmm.
You want to see it again?
Yeah, show us again real quick.
Okay, give me a sec. I'll just go. Wait a sec. It's hidden somewhere. Here. Here. Yeah. Ah, here we go. Just to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm wearing gloves, but I think I would normally have a shirt that would be going down, that I don't think my arms are really exposed.
But I mean, right, if you would feel pain, you would like do this, right? You would like look at what's going on, right? So
right.
And you
Something on my arm, but
you get a fresh tattoo, how dark it is before it becomes more like bluish. It's like fresh on, right? It has a gleaming aspect of a freshly made tattoo, but there's no blood or ink or anything. It's just like there, right? All brand new. For one, like
Yeah, so I have the lantern still. And so I'm gonna hold it up so I'm face to face with Furfur. And I think I'm gonna say so not a crystal ball?
well, a demon is a demon. A bird is a bird, and you are many things. So am I. And being truthful is not one of my qualities. Baba Gesh did tell you to be careful with me around you, right?
And so the truth now?
Well, there's a good point and a bad point. Good point is, well, if it ever meet this god dog, he's probably be very happy to have two new disciples, huh? Bad point is there are now two new disciples in this vlog, so they'll probably have to obey orders, grovel, lick his boots, and all that shit in hell. If you want to get higher in the echelons, you gotta do the dirty work, and the dirty work is dirty, so I am not a crystal ball. That's the truth. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I can get you back home, though.
You know what? Natanu is going to. I'm going to take the staff nonchalantly as possible from Orpheus, and I'm going to shove it into the eye.
And I'm definitely like at this point on my toes, ready to jump if need be.
You insert the rod in, and it can go. You think you're gonna poke it, but then you see there's no resistance, so you can go deeper and deeper. Are you going all the way in?
Yeah, I'm continuing to push until something happens.
It goes in until it gets to the metal part, and then it stops there. And there's like rays of red light coming out of the crystal, the purple gem, and you see those rays hitting the sculpture. Ray on the lower right, double rays on the upper left, triple rays on the upper right, and 4 rays on the lower left. Because I know it was more clear when I did it, but it's so small here. And they go and hit. They kind of, if you look at sideways, let's say this is the tip of the rods, and then that way is your way. So the tip of the rod is like this, but the rays go back and hit the wall behind them, right? You follow my drift?
Not really, to be honest.
No?
So
okay. So you consider the rod tip first, like the butt of the rod in, the wooden part, all the way in until only the crystal part was juling out, right? And from that crystal, red rays of light are hitting like the sides of the sculpture at very specific points. Is that better?
That how we're supposed to mark the statue then with the blood? Is that?
But nothing's happening right now.
Yeah.
More.
Okay. Yeah. Natanu, she's got her sacrificial dagger out, and she says to Orpheus, "We can gain glory this way. We can do it together." And slit my hand, and then I hand the dagger to you. And I start kind of like touching the points or the pattern that this light is making.
Are you everyone noticed that the well just dried up? There's no more water coming out of the fountain.
I think just before Orpheus grabs the dagger or whatever, Felix is gonna ask them. He's gonna ask them. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, do you know what you're getting yourself into, Orpheus?
And Orpheus, in terms of what I'm feeling inside, I feel rejuvenated, but I don't, and I have the burning sensation. But do I feel like I'm being compelled or anything?
You're back to yourself. I mean, you feel like you had a nice restful sleep, and this is going to be a good day, a great day. You feel positive, but you don't feel compelled, or you're basically yourself. Nothing is pushing you in a direction. Nothing's,
Yeah, so I think when Natanu kind of hands the dagger to me, Orpheus is going to drop the dagger and say, "Natanu, I feel rejuvenated, but I don't know that this is the right path for us. We don't have to continue following through with this ritual."
Who said we had to? I want you with me. Come with me.
And I think Orpheus is also going to say to Diogenes, Diogenes, a mark is just a mark. You of all of us should know that. I mean, simply because somebody has a mark does not, imply that we're part of some, new religious order or anything like that.
Diogenes is still serious, still grim. And he says, mark or not, group or not, religion or not, you have thrown nature out of balance. That is your mark. That is your group. That is your religion. And he's just going to shake his head.
Felix, I mean, you don't know these people well. You've not been with them very long, and you see there's a gravity going on. That's what's going on here. Um, since you don't really know why they're here at this point, you're just following. What you want to do with this? Are you going to follow through? Do you want them to do this?
Yeah. I mean, like Felix is looking to get paid. He's got to get some nicer duds. You know, he's got to make his way into high society. So I think he's just kind of impatient with all of this, and he's trying to be polite and you know, give people the time and space. But in his mind, he's just like screaming, like, "Do it! Hurry up! Goddamn!" You know, like. And maybe you just you like you the only like manifestation of his impatience is he's just tapping his foot or something like that. But he's just smiling, and he's got like, again, the like smile, the like polite smile on his face.
So I guess it's in your hands, Orpheus. What are you going to do? Leave the dagger on the
I think Orpheus is not going to pick up the dagger, and Orpheus is going to be pleading with Natanu now, saying, Natanu, this does not seem right. I don't think that we should go through with this ritual that you seem bound and determined to follow through with.
Oh, I remember a night I said that to one of my friends, and you know, I woke up the next morning and I was so wrong. Yeah, you should try it out.
The promise.
Yeah, I just step in between the two of you, grab the dagger, cut my hand, and I just like start smearing it on like I'll smear it on something. I like just push Orpheus out of the way.
Okay.
I've lost patience.
You smear it on the points of light.
Yeah.
Right. You follow the order.
No, I think I'll just smear whatever.
So there's blood everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, come on, do something."
Maybe I won't smear the actual thing, but like, yeah, I'll just grab the dagger and I'll cut myself, and I'll just like look at Natanu, like gritting my teeth a little bit, like from the sting of the bite, and I'll just be like, you know, giving him the look, like, okay, like impatient, like impetuous. Let's do this. Hurry up.
Yeah, so I'm going to like centrally grab, or like, so I'm gonna set him up on the thing and then centrally, like hand in hand, like wipe together the marks in order.
You I'm not even okay. You hear this like stone on stone grinding noise as the fountain like shifts backwards a foot and then drops down slowly. And then you see an opening in the archway that leads to a room where there's like some purplish light swirling in and moving around, and you see a gateway taking all your view, right? So you don't see what's beneath there over there. And this is like maybe the distance like from a typical like I don't know, house. It's not too far off, but it's like you have a few meters to cross over there, and you see those big stones slowly circling this purplish, bluish, purple there portal. Sorry. What do you do, guys?
I mean, I'm gonna just take out some like clean bandage and like just bandage my hand really tightly, and then put my glove over my bandage so I don't lose it. And I'm not too like, I glimpse maybe into this thing like knowingly, like obviously this is something that would happen, but I'm more concerned with my hand.
Give me the lamp, Diogenes. Give me the lamp.
So I'll shove the lamp into Netanyahu's hand, and I think once I've relinquished the lamp, and I hope this doesn't go bad, but I want to shift into dog form because I'm not comfortable with any of this, and I'll be far more comfortable as a dog.
Your usual dog?
Yeah. So 9 total, so only 1 hold this time, but that's okay because it was more fictional than anything else. So yeah, shove the lamp, shift into a dog.
I see you changing in a dog and having the lamp in your maw and just you know.
Yeah, maybe as I grab it, a little bit of blood smears on your nose or something from my hand. And with the lantern in my hand, I start running forward towards this light. I'm talking to the spirit in it, and I want to use the true seeing. And I say, what do I have to do to have the vision like yours?
What do you have to offer me? Basically, you choose what ability you're gonna mark and just describe how it feels and what it does.
So yeah, you guys see like a light come out of my mouth and like go into the lamp. He's going to take some of my magical connection to the other world, death, you know.
Right. So for this scene, you have true seeing. As you're approaching, all 3 of you see a large dog come out from the archway, a black dog. I said 3 because Netanu, you're seeing eyes, but that's not what you're seeing, Netanu. You're seeing his true form. You're seeing Set Matmesh. I sense you have come to worship me, sister. Or should I say, no, you would say like daughter.
I feel like I've been talking a lot. I don't want to steal the spotlight if anybody has something to say.
I don't mind. This is like your element. You go nuts.
All right, cool. So yeah, I like fall down prostrate. I'm holding my wrist up so he can see the symbol, and I say, I'm yours. I'm here. Command, master.
You will go back to Cartannah and find my leader. Tell him, show him the mark. Tell him I've chosen you to be very special. And he tells you like a few like phrases in the language you understand, but he's basically he's giving you a password in the old tongue. Say this to him exactly, and they'll know you're one of mine. And he gives you direction to a place in the older quarters where there's this old church that's been like abandoned for very long. That's where you'll find your sisters, my daughter. You will be able to join in bliss. Don't forget, you will live longer, but once you die, you will come join me in my realm.
I think while this is going on, Felix will be like, "Excuse me, Mr.
And
Dog."
he looks at you. Don't forget, you see him in this very pristine black, right? He looks at you and he like kind of pokes a ear at you like you're nothing because you're not a woman and you're.
And I say, would you say that your realm is one of unimaginable beauty and copious treasure?
Both.
Like, are you sure about the latter, the copious treasure?
Are you offering me your services, small manling?
Oh no! I'm threatening your life.
You want to threaten the god of death, mortal?
And I think when he says that, I like the rapier comes out and I go to attack him.
I think Orpheus at this point is horrified and is going to be looking at the mark, looking at the dog, and confused, but on high alert. This is dangerous, and I don't understand it, and I don't really want to engage with this dog form anymore. And Orpheus, I think, is going to be rushing the other way, is going to be leaving the scene.
What? No.
You're
That's terrible
about,
idea.
and just what Diogenes are you doing here? What exactly are you doing?
Yeah, so when Felix pulls out his rapier, Diogenes feels as maybe he misjudged Felix, and so now, if I can, I want to try to shift to my usual bull form when we're gonna battle. Can I do that straight from the dog form?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. Let's hope this doesn't go poorly.
Ah,
11 total. Cool. All right. So 3 hold, the usual charge, gore, and intimidate. So I'll go ahead and spin 1 hold as soon as I shift to do my intimidate and kind of paw the ground, blow some, flare my nostrils, and try to intimidate this dog.
When a dog feels threatened, they'll get like lower kind of growls, and he turns into his true shape. And he's like, yes, come forward, bull. Feel me. You too, small thing. Come. Are you still charging, Felix?
Yeah, so I think what I'll do is when he changes into the form, I'll be like quite surprised. And then what I'll do is I'll like give a knowing glance back to Diogenes, and then I will maybe just like, instead of going straight at him, I think I will like as though I'm running at him, I think I'll suddenly change my step and try to leap over a wall and take cover and try to find a place to hide, but somewhere near the action.
So if you look at what you're seeing, there's this stone bridge crossing over to the archway. He's like just inside the archway, and the light of the portal is behind him. So he's like crouching over there. So there's no real place from where you're at.
I imagine that there was like, maybe because you said there's all this broken blocks and everything around there. Maybe there was like a big stone that I could jump behind or something along those lines.
Okay. So you get down, and since you're small too, you don't need much for cover. So I see you like kind of sliding at the last minute and just like being behind that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And essentially, I'm looking for, a advantageous moment to unleash my barrage.
Right. Since it's 1, normally I would not do this, but can I force something on you guys that's not going to kill you, but just like to force the fiction to a nice closing moment there? Are you good with that? I'm not gonna kill off your characters.
Are we gonna montage or something?
Yeah, kind of. Well, I'll give you a chance to do that. You'll see. You get there, you're behind a rock, looking over for what to do. Orpheus is running for her life, because now we know she's a woman. Well, I know. Tanu, you're prostrated, and we have a bull charging. But then there's like the dog just like sees you coming, and the last second he just like does that, and you're like thrown in the air, and you think you're gonna fall down and die or something, but you're like kind of spinning like if you were in space. There's no gravity, and then we see also like Felix being jerked from the side, like, and like just grabbing, like, I imagine you have your weapon in hand or something. You're like kind of like going in the sky, and even like Orpheus, we see you running, getting almost to the threshold where there's the trap, but then a force pulls you back in, and you're like skidding on you're not pulled in any sense, but he kind of just like jerks his head in the direction of the portal as you see your three friends slowly getting into the rotation of the portal and being sucked in. You should follow your servants in. And I guess we see you following them in. And you see the last one. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're fine.
So you're just the last one in, and this wine hits you as you see your three companions getting back on their feet. What would be your natural form, Diogenes, dog or man? If you lose track of, what's your default?
I think we're gonna say dog, just because he feels more comfortable as a dog.
So you're unarmed, all of the three of you, but you're kind of confused. So you see your friends down on the ground. There's this wind brushing your hair, your robes and everything, all of you. Your fur is like rippling as you see the realm of Set Matmesh. It's like flat, black, no one in sight, only the light coming from the pyramid and those columns, and you have no idea where you're at right now, as you're like in the realm of death. You're not dead. You're visitors. But I think we can see a montage of you approaching the pyramid and then entering it after discussing and deciding what you would do and everything. And you find yourself back in Cartannah as night is falling, not really understanding what just happened there, but knowing, yes, there's something down there that needs to be investigated or taken care about pretty soon, more than later. And you have the directions to go and meet your new sisters if you wish to do so, Orpheus and Nathaniel. So that's pretty much it. Is this a nice way to conclude this? You want to add or modify anything here?
I might want to add a little moment.
Sure.
In the part where the people were spinning around. I think like maybe like I slide behind a brick and then I quickly like get to another brick without the god of death noticing or something like that. And maybe he lifts that brick looking for me, but I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And then I see Diogenes like fly through the air and transform into a dog as he does. And then I kind of like look up for him like I'm safe, but if maybe I can just hide this one out. And I see him flying through the air, and then I kind of like I guess I have to kind of look on my face, and I jump to try to grab him to keep him from getting sucked in. And I think that's when I get sucked up and join him through the into the sucking of the portal.
I like it because it gives you agency and choice. Yeah, it's cool. Anything else, guys? We're good.
I wish we had more time so we could play through all that.
I'll probably throw something in September, so be on the lookout. I'll try that. So that's it. Do we have time to do the end of session so that you have the proper XP before we finish this up?
Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. So I'm gonna start with Spencer this time around. Want to hit your drives or alignment?
Yeah, I forgot. I was going to change that, and then I didn't.
What would you have chosen? I mean, you talked about it last time. So did you have any idea what you wanted to go with?
No, that was the thing. I didn't take the time to look at the list.
Okay, well, you know what? Mark XP for honesty. Okay, Ryan, drives alignment.
I don't think so. At least not intentionally. I think it's possible that we've just destroyed civilization, but I didn't do it on purpose, so I don't think I hit anything this time.
I mean, I'm gonna argue for what, maybe one for you actually. It wasn't direct, but like it could have been interpreted in that way. Is when I flipped you the coin, you just let it fall. Selfishness.
Thank you for stories because
Tennessee.
8 hours